old toys. Less articulated, less playable, and just overall worse than their modern counterparts. Now let's look at a group of unfortunate toys. Man, we're so old. Time to retire. You guys are 10 years old, it's not that deep. Our generation is dying. Because your quality sucks, that's why you guys are dying out.
How rude! My son will come and beat you up!
Hey Ma, do I have the same thing? Your son looks more fun to play with than you. Look at all his details and his play features. Hello, guys. This guy is half a dinosaur and he still looks better than you guys. Let's go. These guys are losers. Yeah, agreed. What assholes? Generally, what are we supposed to do about that?
Video starts now. So if you were alive in 2015, or if you were sentient at all, you probably remember Jurassic Park 4. I'm just kidding, it's called Jurassic World. And it's currently the 10th highest grossing film according to Wikipedia. I don't think this movie has the same, cultural impact as Jurassic Park did, but it's still talked about sometimes, and it's still going, as Jurassic World Rebirth's coming out soon. Let's just say it was big. Big movies. What do big movies that are PG-13 do? They sell toys to kids. And that's what they did. Toys that weren't that good. When these toys released, they were kind of controversial. They were kind of inaccurate, not that fun to play with, and were just sometimes downright ugly. Now let's get into why these toys released 10 years ago and are still cheap online to buy. If you watched Jurassic Park stuff online back then, you probably might have known about these toys getting clowned on, because they were not as good as the Kenner toys that released in 1993. Many people were just really disappointed that the series that kind of prided itself on having good toys just didn't really have any good toys this time around. The toys looked and they felt cheap. One unique criticism that older fans had was that they didn't have the real feel dinosaur stuff in the dino damage. I'll just say that real feel hasn't really been here since Jurassic Park 3, and neither has dino damage, but it was a shame that it didn't come back in this line. Also, I'll say that Jurassic Park 3 is also made by Hasbro, so yeah. Well, the toys are. To explain what dino damage and real feel is what it sounds like. It was supposed to emulate the dinosaur skin from the movies, and dino damage was like these little things you could place on the dinosaurs so you can take it off and play, but they're damaged, and you can put it back on, that they're not damaged. These features really disappointed the people who like Jurassic Park toys. They're also ugly painting. Yeah, the paint detail choices just look really weird and inaccurate sometimes, and yeah. A lot of them had just big, ugly red gashes that were just always open, so your dinosaur was always in horrible anguish. And dino damage is, as I said, that might sound like dino damage for people who don't know, but for those who know, it's not the same thing when it's just always on the dinosaur. Another problem with the display is that, yeah, these things. Your dinosaur just got shot. These screw holes are just really ugly, and it makes it so you can't really turn them around like they're 2D. Unless you want to look at that. Well, these just had articulation, and it kind of sucked. A lot of articulation is just tied to a gimmick or non-existent, creating strange poses, and it's insane some of the raptors just couldn't close their mouths. They're raptors, they bite things. Kenner, the old people who made Jurassic Park toys, and Mattel, the new people who make them now, don't really have this problem with even if they have articulation problems, their mouths are usually closable. At least on carnivores, because it's important that you have carnivores that are able to close their mouths and stuff. And it was just an option. I'm not expecting hyper-articulated dinosaurs, but them being so attached to gimmicks and stuff is just kind of annoying. I wanted some to play out with these dinosaurs. Another problem with sculpt is the scaling, which isn't very well scaled at all. It makes for weird play scenarios. They're just really wacky. I felt the scenario is, sorry, I'll say it. I feel the toy line just, it markets itself on being like better dinosaurs, or that's what it started, that is. But then it just became more dinosaur. That's what dinosaurs thought. Saying slot things doesn't make you cool, but it does. Yeah, you're right. But now, I like some dinosaur toys I have.
Usually I script these parts, but I guess not today. You guys don't deserve. Wait, you guys are actually good. Say hello to Rexy, Blue, and the Dilophosaurus. I have it done on usually, but it's not here, so like it's not. I'm gonna start with Blue. This toy has an important memory attached to it, so I'll give some context. So this toy is a childhood toy. I've had this toy since I was a kid, before Jurassic World was even like announced. So yeah. Though I didn't get it from the original source, I just got it from like secondhand. But yeah, I wanted this toy. Even though this is also Hasbro and has a lot of the same problems as Jurassic World 2015 line, it's still just better. But I wanted a friend, and Jurassic World came out a few years later. So now I can finally get him a friend. That friend was Blue. She's like the main raptor in this movie. I forgot if I got her the day after, sorry, not the day after watching the movie or before watching the movie, but the thing I remember is I got her the same day I watched the movie. And I was so happy to have this toy because the movie meant a lot to me because I really liked Jurassic Park, so I was happy to have another Jurassic Park toy finally that I could just play with and pretend that they were fighting or just being friends. Despite this extremely special memory having this toy, I still need to kind of bash it a little bit. Race, gender, political affiliation, or sexual orientation. I think we can all agree that this does not look like Blue that much. As you can see in this helpful picture or render, the colors are way lighter. Her snout is not that elongated. And I feel like there's a reason they call her Blue. I wonder why. This is not Blue, like, at all. They were thinking, but how could they make an accurate version of Blue? Gee, I wonder how. Unlike other raptors Mattel has made, or even Kenner, that can close their mouths, Blue can't. And now she has anything to show. Unlike the teeth that we get now, these are not very, let's have the camera focus. These are not very good teeth. They're pretty badly painted on, getting onto the tongue and the inner mouth, and they just look really dull. And I just want you to know, this isn't just my Blue that played with her. Her teeth are just not that sharp, or, yeah. A lot of these toys don't really have sharp jaws for safety reasons until recently. They've kind of found a way around that. But now, this just isn't it. Her teeth look like they're growing in from being a baby. Like human teeth growing in from being a baby. Now I could set the pose and detail and articulation and stuff. That's all you can do. You can kind of turn her arms a little bit. I don't want to do that much because I don't want to break the toy. But yeah, that's all you can do. Why are her arms like back? If you're gonna have her arms there, have them more forward because this arm wouldn't be able to hit anything. This arm wouldn't be, but why? She can move her legs, so now you can make her stand up, which is a pretty nice feature. This looks like a pose that she's like jumping for someone maybe. But compare this to the modern Mattel Raptor, or Velociraptor. Well, for one, we get opening mouth. For two, we get articulation to move wherever we want it. Well, except back here. But Velociraptor need to go that much back there. See? So if you want to recreate the blue pose, you would do that. And the nose habit looks really weird. You get to move the legs. And the tail bends. Oh yeah, also it turns. So yeah, that's another thing Mattel has over this one. Let's look at the prices for it now. So according to the Jurassic World Toys database, it was $14 at release, or $15 technically. Adjust for inflation as you please. The Mattel one does way more for $8.47. Keep in mind though that toy did have electronics, it's still $12.99 to get another Raptor without electronics, which you also have to adjust for inflation. Speaking of electronics, these electronics don't work anymore. It used to play sounds and have a light, but it doesn't. It was okay. Also, this is just discolored and weird, but I'll just play a clip of that from someone else's channel and credit them.
Up a little bit closer up, you push this in, and you can see it lights and she screams. So she's only got two different sounds.
So watching that video, I actually learned I was wrong about the arms being weird. You just turn it here, and you turn it here. And this is more accurate to how she was packaged. So that's actually good to know. I hope. A lot more functional, seeing it's like slashing. Though it's getting kind of stuck, so I'll try to fix it. Though as you can see, yeah, the light and sounds add kind of to it, but it's not really much. Though I need to say something else about this toy. As you saw, there was more Raptors that sometimes would come with the unelectronic one. And they don't have sucker claws, so technically she's the best Raptor here. Though, if this one had claws, I would like it more, because I think it's another really cooler pose. I do think this is a neat idea, but then again, I think Mattel still did it better. They made them, well, good. Even though those guys are crouching, I think that you get enough standing Raptors that can make up for it, and you can always just army build different Raptors into it, so yeah. Is Blue really a failure of a toy? Yeah. Though, that doesn't mean you have to hate the toy. Despite everything I said, I still kind of like this toy because of my memories with it. So yeah. And there's one thing it has that Mattel doesn't. It's painted claws. So yeah. Good job, Hasbro. Should I get this toy today? No. Unless you feel really nostalgic, this toy, I like this saying, just isn't really worth getting today since we have the Mattel Raptors, the standard Raptors. If you want more options, there's some other Raptor sculpts, or even Hammond Collection, which are pretty hyper-articulated. Not like hyper-articulated, but actually, I don't know, I don't own any of them. I want to place them here. But Blue doesn't even scale with their own line, so I don't know if that's really worth it. Unless, like I said, you feel nostalgic. It was 10 years ago, so I'm sure some people have some good memories of this toy. You know something I like in toys? Watch this. It's easy to give that to humans in their vehicles, but what about dinosaurs? If only there's a dinosaur who could spit things. If Dilophosaurus had its debut appearance in this film series by spitting on... They spat on this guy, Dennis Nedry. A lot of people believe that they could actually spit because of this, but they can't. They've never done this in real life. Despite all the genetic stuff, this actually appears to be just something in the Jurassic Park universe. They just found that they had frills. Well, according to the loudspeaker. So despite that being a thing, a lot of Jurassic Park dinosaurs can kind of hide behind, this dinosaur is just inaccurate in universe, according to them. I would say that they're that they're also bigger than in the movie, but in the movie they're implied to be juvenile Dilophosaurs instead of full-grown ones. Well, I think that was in the books. I have the book. Good scene in the books. This was a segment to talk about this guy. I kind of like this toy. It doesn't have electronics working anymore, which really added to it. I would need batteries. I need money for batteries. Big money for YouTube videos to buy my batteries. Anyways, I lost a projectile to this guy like the first day I got him because I was having so much fun shooting it, so you know what? That goes at a point in its playability. His frills aren't really that well implemented. They're it's good when it's maybe flapping at you. It's a cool idea and concept, but in reality, I've always wanted the Kenner one because you could just remove the frill, have it look normal, instead of just always having it on and attacking. Yeah, he can't close his mouth either. Usually this is where I say yeah, Mattel did it better, but even they haven't solved this problem really. It's still just retracted on their neck things. It's hard to say neck, okay? There's been a few toys that have retracted. This is the Kenner one, the first one that did retract. Well, it didn't retract, but you could take it off. And these all can just be removed. Well, some people might think, well, why is this a problem? They look cooler with the frills. And the problem is that in the movie, they only used the frills when they were attacking. So you just can't get a neutral expression out of these guys because they're always attacking. And it's not very fun. It ruins a lot of photo opportunities or just stop motion stuff. Not that I would use this guy for stop motion. It's usually not very good, but still. Sometimes people call Mattel too cartoony looking, and the toys are just not, they just look too cartoony, and yeah. And those people need to remember what we were dealing with before. Do you see how goofy these eyes look? They look like the eyes of an animal in an anime. Maybe it looks kind of decent from this view. Turn it around at all, and you have this. Despite it not being the same as the first, I still think this is way better than Blue's paint because it's just a normal dinosaur, not a specific character. There's still some laziness here and there, but I think it's overall way better. There was this color, which this is also what the beam looks like, the spit. So I just want to show you that. And this paint scheme, which I think is way cooler, but I didn't get this, so you get this. The articulation of play is pretty simple, I think it's a little bit better than Blue's. You can move the arms to your heart's content, just not really. But they're free to move and not attached to the gimmick. Though, the head movement is. I think this is a way more fun gimmick though. Well, you gotta put levels and the legs move. Not the most, but they move, and that's most that you'll need really. Not like you'll need to move them that much because this just isn't that type of toy. Just keep them like that. And I'll find another video for the lights and sounds.
Wound mark, which makes this noise, which is the whoop. It's the whoop, and I cannot remember in, and I'm just gonna fire it and see if we can actually set off the Ceratosaurus's wound.
So yeah, when I got this toy today, Okay, hear me out. If the Dilophosaurs in Jurassic Park are usually juveniles, this is the size to be about an adult. You have Amber Collection, but this is an affordable, bigger Dilophosaurus, which is more in scale with how they actually were, because Dilophosaurus, as I said, they weren't that small usually. They didn't spit venom, they didn't have furrows, so yeah. And I think for the prices that this line goes for online, you can probably get it if you like Dilophosaurus. Seeing that most Dilophosaurus suffer from the same problem, the Metalmix with the furrows, then yeah. It might be like an elder Dilophosaurus. I think it's a better toy than Blue, so yeah. Sorry Blue, but Dilophosaurus victory, and yeah. Can't stand it. You guys never stand. Now on to the next and final toy. Actually, before I do, I just kind of recommended this as an adult, even though I kind of forgot this one exists. But I think that I think this one might be a little bit better to buy nowadays. It might not stand well, but it can stand better than this one. It might not have better colors, but I think the standing makes up for it, because this one stands so weirdly. This one won't get its own video, because I don't feel like it. But if I did, it'd probably have a lot of the same problems as most of these guys. Anyways, oh, he's dead. Well, video over.
404, Marco 1.
What if I told you this is my favorite one? It's so tiny, but I love it, okay? Do you know why I have this toy and not like the big T-Rexes? Because this one's cheaper. Well, it was cheaper. This toy retailed for about $10 in 2015. Adjusted for inflation if you wish, but say what you want about Hasbro, but they always do find a way to make affordable versions of popular characters, or how they do in Transformers, which is the only thing I collect from Hasbro. And this toy might be $10, but it has been very fun for me. It still is. Not only the sculpt like decent, but a lot of the articulation is glitch free. The gimmick is this, and that's not like a bad gimmick. A lot of Mattel figures that try to open their mouth. The mouth detail is a lot better than most of these guys. There's a big ugly wound, and yeah, it's not that pretty. And the painting is not that good, especially the textures aren't that good either. They look cheap. But look. Look at that. That's just so cool. And I've been doing this for so long. This has been a good fidget toy for me for so long, because I just like doing this over and over when I'm like, something happens. It's so quick and satisfying. It might not scale well with its line mates being very small for a T-Rex. Though, you know what it does scale decently with? Normal dinosaur toys. This changes everything, I felt. When he scales with these guys, it just, now you can just have him fight those guys, with him being the best of them all. Yes. This toy, it's special to me. This is the first Toy Rex I have. And yeah, nowadays I have the Red Rex, which is way better. This can just eat toys, and it's not even a competition. But I didn't always get that back then. Not because I was like disadvantaged or
before. But as a kid, you just don't always leave the store with the biggest toy, and you don't need to, because these toys suffice. Yeah, it's really an eyesore from back here. Like, really an eyesore. If this could be cleaned up, this would be a lot better of a toy. And it just looks like Rexy. Or, I see $10 version of Rexy. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to have this toy. There's a few versions of this toy. The normal one, the green one, which apparently always had like an issue with the jaw. The jaw isn't perfect, but that one always like seemed like it was popping off or something. And the small Adonis Rex. There's some bigger T-Rexes on this line, but in hindsight, I think I'm happier with this one. Just know to put some respect on more affordable toy options. They might not be as good as like the $40 toy options, but to a kid, when you like a character, it means a lot when you can just get a small version of them. I don't really recommend this toy though. There are way better T-Rexes than this one, and it just is not that worth it. Though I do think if you like it, you might enjoy fidgeting with it, like I do. Anyways, I'll try to remember the Dimorphodon from memory. So, the Dimorphodon, it had like a jaw, but the jaw was like kind of detached almost, and it looked weird. It had a bendy tail and these weird feet, and when you pinch them, it would like flap its wings and make a flapping sound. I have a video of it. Though I think the Dimorphodon's kind of big and ugly compared to the Dimorphodons I get now. Because they're kind of supposed to be like small and ugly, but now this one's big and ugly. Has weird teeth too, so might as well just buy any of these. Anyways, Lois, I wonder what you think of these. Do you like them? Dislike them? Want them to burn? They're endearing in a way, but that can only really be appreciated as much 10 years in the future, where these aren't like out right now. Right now we're getting way better releases that makes like one $20 purchase makes like any of these guys just suck in comparison. And it sucks Hasbro didn't try, because this is one of the highest grossing movies of all time now, so yeah. Suck Hasbro, because they lost their license for all the other movies. If there's any lesson to be taken from this, it's that a Hasbro dinosaur robot is better than this whole line. I'm kidding, I'm right. Though, I don't really recommend these guys too much, like, now that we have Mattel that replaces, like, all of them with way better ones. Like, all these guys have a Hammond collection variant, or, I guess, Dilophosaurus doesn't, not Dilophosaurus, Dimorphodon, but these three do, so you can just buy those instead if you have the money. So yeah, bye.
That's what I don't get. Where's the buns? The mustard?
Oh, right here.
Carson, here's what I don't get. Where's the buns? The mustard?
We're Costco guys. Of course, we're in Among Us. I've got to take my chicken bake and use anything else I can to win.
Punished for his crimes.